everyone. While there were no videos, I added a lot of updates to my second game, and this video will be almost entirely about them. I'll start with a new mechanic, unit levels for the player. At first I wanted to keep it simple. Upon spawning, a unit would receive the level the player upgraded it to, and based on that level, it would be given its stats. But then I realized that this approach would lead to an enormous amount of code, and I could say goodbye to any optimization and readability. So I put the idea aside until I could think something better. And then I remembered scriptable object. For those who don't know, in short, it's a class similar to monobehavior but with a key differences. First, it cannot be attached to game object. Second, it can only store data that doesn't change after the game starts, static data. Their objects are stored directly in the project folder. They are perfect for storing data that doesn't change during the gameplay, like that tables for different unit levels. Thanks to them, creating many units levels become almost easy. Why almost? Because all the scripts related to player and enemy units were written for standard mono behavior and previously didn't interact with scriptable object. Therefore, I had to rewrite half of the code responsible for spawning, AI, damage, and so on. Of course, not without bugs and stress, but I manage it. Currently, the game has 10 levels for each unit type, 10 levels for 3 types of player units, and 10 levels for 2 types of adventurers. I don't plan to make more than 10 levels for any units, and some will have even fewer. The next major update was dungeon floors. This was much easier to implement than writing half of the scripts. Now you can build your dungeon not only left and right, but also up and down. Using the mechanic is very simple. At the bottom right, near the Start Night button, 2 arrows have appeared. One takes you down a floor, and the other, surprise, takes you up a floor. This mechanic is still rough, but it's already functional. And they say the hardest part is to start, and everything else can be polished in future updates. But to use this mechanic, a new room was needed. Unsurprisingly, it became the staircase room. With the addition of this building, I had to rewrite the scripts for saving buildings parameters because they can now be located on different floors: ground floor, first, second, and so on. Well, what kind of video would be without talking about bugs? And there were quite a few, I say even a lot. About half were related to previous updates. For example, you could place a building outside the spawn zone by using the spawn points of other buildings. The other half appeared while working on new features. There were cases where units simply didn't see each other, or adventurers started drifting when they saw the dungeon core. There were also minor bugs. For instance, a unit would spawn without clothing or without a weapon. Well, that's just the usual default. I love bugs. I also started working on the enemy scaling mechanic with each passing day. It's already in the game, but it's very raw. Currently, it simply spawns adventurers based on a percentage that depends on the dungeon aura count. So on day 0, it's from 80 to 85%, and by day 4, it's already from 105 to 155%. The plans for expanding this mechanic include adding a T-shaped room and crossroads, so that adventurers don't just head to the core, but also explore other empty rooms or rooms with traps and treasures. There are a few more ideas for this mechanic, but they are still in the concept stage. One of these ideas is to add groups of adventurers that would specifically head to the other rooms, but as I said, it's still just concept. As for the tutorial in the game, it still doesn't exist, and I am not sure whether to add it now or when I've implemented all the core mechanics. But looking at how new mechanics keep appearing, I haven't decided yet. Regarding Arms Dealer, I haven't done anything there besides fixing bugs. However, looking at the download statistics, I've decided it's time to start updating the first game. I've already written down many ideas. Some of them I mentioned in previous videos, but new ones have appeared too. The main one will be converting items to scriptable objects as well to make them easier to add in the future. Overall, almost everything is going well right now. The only thing lacking is time due to the university, but the game are developing nicely and video views are increasing. Thank you to everyone who watched the video until the end, who will download the game and leave a review.